Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Nintendo Rewind, where we are still trying to plan what tonight's show is going to look like. But ignore all of that. We'll just plan it. Screw it. We'll do it live. My name's Cody Christian, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Christopher Becker. We're rewinding and recapping the last year for Nintendo, talking about all of its biggest wins and all of its biggest losses. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to hit that like button and say hey, and if you're here on Twitch, know you're our favorite child. But before we dive in, Christopher, how is it going, my good sir?
Oh, it's going great. I'm doing marvelous. Some would say never been better. Some would say that. I would not, but yeah, I'm doing good. What about you? How the heck are you?
I'm doing all right. I did some dumpster diving today. I was diving into my own dumpster, delivering trash into it. So like it's not that big a deal.
Can I say something?
Say something.
I'll put some trash in your dumpster.
Oh, you gotta. God, I can't right now, Chris. Please, Chris, please. Oh man, we've got. I got a lot of room in that trunk. There was no
phrasing about that. Let me tell you what.
A lot of room in that dump. Dump. I'm gonna get you dumpstered. Get you dumpstered right on my humps. We're gonna get, I got a lot of room in the dump. I do. I got a lot of room in the dump. But no, it's been good. Been playing a lot of Fortnite lately. Way too much Fortnite.
A lot of Fortnite. I've been. How's Fortnite going? You're getting a lot of stuff.
It's going well. I checked my win streak, by the way. Or not my win streak, but my win ratio. Today, just to see after last night's games, I'm sitting at a 36.4% win rate this season. Like I've been doing pretty dang good. I'm like, okay, then we can do this. Maybe we're gonna move to the pros. Who knows?
I don't think we are, but
me and you as a pair, we can take on the world.
Yeah. Okay. So you know how before we were on here, I got on the webcam, showed you my hair.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so I think, was it last week or the week before that I told you I went 2 weeks ago, I would have went to the eye doctor.
Yeah.
And so I had someone design some glasses for me.
Okay.
And if I sent it to you, if you would please show the designed glasses to the stream.
Open media link. Hang on a second. Here we go. Hang on, I'm gonna let the people see them. I wonder who designed these. Let's see. Let me do a little zoom in here for the people. She could absolutely end up on your glasses. I think that's a fine pick. Look at that hair.
Are you a fan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that hit 10 out of 10.
I just need her to send me that photo of her, and I can just add that photo of her to your glasses on your on your me that's on here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a good. I told her to like stand kind of like an arch, right, in like a doorway or somewhere, and then she can be like the middle, keeping the glasses together.
just like having her arms spread wide holding the lenses.
Yeah, she's holding the lenses up.
I think it's a missed opportunity. We'll throw those on for you for when you're not 8-bit. We'll make you have those on your next costume choice. I know what Sierra would end up doing whenever she rolls in here into the live chat every single week. So,
yeah, exactly.
Man. Well, did you get glasses ordered? Yes, no, maybe.
No, I haven't gotten any glasses ordered. I forgot to get them.
Okay. That's on your to-do list.
I forgot to order them. They're on my to-do list. I got some other stuff going on.
Eyesight's not that important. It's fine. Oh man,
yeah,
let me
put her on the King of the Hill glasses, would you?
Yeah, I will. I absolutely will.
Well, she's got to send you that picture. It's probably a sticker. She probably made that a sticker, so it's easy for her to
She's a professional graphic designer. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Let me welcome in the people into the live chat here. We had Mnemonic Man, Nerded Art rolling in here. Sierra, please, the Cord Head. Also, thank you guys so much for the stream streaks there and the extra subscription that was thrown in there from Mnemonic Man as well. Been subscribed for 6 months, my boy. Thank you so much. Sierra and Mnemonic Man both on a 5-stream streak.
Can you do me a favor?
What?
Just talk for a minute. I got to go find my nitroglycerin. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm fine. But
okay. I'm beginning to wonder if, I don't know if he is actually fine. Well, but please hold for breaking news on Nintendo Rewind. I'm beginning to wonder if the reason the stream streaks reset is because we went 2 weeks without doing a show on the actual Twitch place. But who knows? Sierra Police says he's fine. I can tell. But that may be why everyone's stream streak reset, because I know that all of you guys have been here every week that we've been live, so I don't know why the stream streaks would reset. But that being said, I do want to make sure that we give some thank yous to the proper places for all of the producers and our supporters over at NintendoRewind.com. If you would like to directly support our content, every dollar spent on memberships and merch helps us continue to produce this show. There's even a tier that only costs $1 a month, and with it, you also get a shout out. That said, I want to thank our supporters, Calamity Nolan, Sierra Please, Kiatic, and Mnemonic Man for all of their gracious support. Nedist, he better not be mostly dead again. There's no promises. He will post in the Discord saying, "Oh, I've died." That's just what he'll do. Kiatic at a 12 stream streak. Thank you so freaking much for all the support, for real, from all of you guys. You guys have been amazing. I am excited to see where this show ends up going over the next year, because, I mean, we've had a year of Nintendo stuff, and it's been kind of just, not to spoil the show too much, but it's been kind of just like a little bit on the more mid side of things. We've had not a whole lot of gigantic first-party titles that have really kind of made waves and big splashes. And some of those have. But, that being said, I would like to know what everybody else's take is on the Nintendo Switch 2, besides Nedist, because we know he will not spend that $500 on on a console. But I would be curious what you guys feel about it. Welcome back, Christopher. I've thanked a lot of people. I've thanked all the people, and I've chit-chatted a lot. So are you ready to get this show on the road? I know we've got quite a bit to get through, kind of reviewing this last year with Nintendo.
Yeah, might as well. Give it a go. Get into it.
3, 2, 1.
Find it.
You couldn't find your nitroglycerin tablets?
Yeah.
You need those, don't you?
I'm sure it's fine.
Do we need to go to a quick break?
No. I'll just grab another bottle of them.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. The first year of a console's life can define everything that follows. Hardware sales, software support, pricing, availability, third-party partnerships, and public perception all help to determine whether a platform is positioned for long-term success or if it's destined to struggle. Tonight, we're taking a look back at the Nintendo Switch 2's first year. We'll revisit the predictions that we made before launch, examine Nintendo's first-party lineup, discuss what it's actually been like to join in on the Nintendo Switch 2 ecosystem, and evaluate whether Nintendo delivered on its promises. Firstly, we're going to take a look ahead at, finally, we'll take a look ahead to year 2 and discuss the games, features, and strategies that could shape the future of the platform. But we're going to start with the heavy-hitting question right at the very top of the hour here. Has Nintendo successfully launched the Switch 2? And we're going to open it with overall satisfaction score. This is going to be from a 1 to a 100. And I know, Chris, I know you haven't had a Switch 2, but you've experienced vicariously through me what the Switch 2 is like. You've seen the games, you've gotten to test it out here and there, and gotten to experience some of the titles. But what is your overall satisfaction score, I suppose, with Nintendo as a company for this first year of Nintendo Switch 2, more so than as just a Nintendo Switch 2 enthusiast?
7 out of 10.
So a 70? I said it's 1 out of 100. You're like 7 out of 10. So a 70?
Out of 100? Let's say 69.
Instructions unclear. Stuck in butt. 69. You've lowered it. You gave it a 7 out of 10.
You talked me
down
into
one.
it. You talked me into it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So overall satisfaction score 69 out of 100 from Christopher. You heard it here first. I would say this much. I do love my Nintendo Switch 2. It is by far my most played console in the house beyond, going back and revisiting my Game Boys. It is my most played console in the house, and it's the thing that I look forward to most playing video games on. Even when there's a new game that's getting ready to come out that may not be day and date on the Nintendo Switch 2, I'm still extremely excited and hopeful that that game will get a Switch 2 launch sometime in the future. I mean, take Peak, for instance, right? Like, we're still waiting for that to hopefully happen. But if I had to give it a satisfaction score, and really kind of considering everything from first-party launch titles to how their holiday was to all the third-party and indie support that they've done and the cost and affordability and the pricing and everything, I think realistically, I would probably give this system an 82 out of 100. If not for the simple fact alone that there are a ton of third-party games that I otherwise probably would not have played because I can play them on my Switch 2, because I can take them anywhere. I have spent a lot more time with my video games, and that's been a really, really good thing for me. But I would give this thing like an 82 of 100. There's still a lot to be desired, and when I think about that score, there's a lot of third-party and indie support there that's causing that score to get risen, because when I look back at the last year of first-party titles, I think I've walked away a little more disappointed than enthused out of everything that's came out. But that's kind of where I land with my overall satisfaction scores, an 82 out of 100.
Would you say you're a little biased?
I mean, I am a little biased. It says on my Threads and Blue Sky bio, Big Nintendo and Marvel Shield. So I am a little biased. But
mine could be higher if I had a Switch 2, because right now all the games that I get codes for or get stuff for I get the Switch version.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's really no way of knowing if I did have a Switch 2 if I would still get it on Steam, or would I grab the Switch 2 version? I have so many Switch 1 games.
Yeah.
I think if you pull up my, what is it? You can look, right? If I go to my cards on the Switch 1. I
don't know if it'll give you a total count. I think you have to go down and count them. If you really wanted to know how many you've got.
Is that a virtual? You can't see how many you have on the virtual.
I don't think it gives you like a number, and you can see all the ones you have.
Oh, it does give me. It says by title, all 1,481. So I have a lot.
Would you say you're a little biased?
Yeah. So I got almost 1,500, but a lot of them I got codes for.
Yeah.
But this also includes, like the global test punch for ARMS and stuff like that. So
all the different demos and everything that's still available.
It's probably only like 1,300. Yeah.
It's still a lot more than I have.
Mario 35.
I think my overall, because most of what I've purchased over the years, I mean, if you include my Switch 1 titles and collection, most of what I've purchased over the years has been first party stuff and then like the indie titles. That's been mostly what I've done. Not even as many third party things, because I've never been like the biggest, AAA third party gamer in terms of thinking of like Capcom and Sega and all those other companies. I've been more into stuff like Devolver Digital and Annapurna Interactive and
more of the indie stuff like Nintendo and Mario.
Nintendo. But the thing about Nintendo is that they release a lot of games, right? But it's like one to two a month. So like you look at that over the course of 10 years, that's only 120 extra titles. So like it doesn't make up the bulk of my collection in that same way. But that's kind of where I land with it. Small indie company known as Nintendo. That's right, Nettis. He gets it. Yeah. I did kind of want to talk a little bit about our biggest surprise from from the entire last year. And this could be game, this could be hardware feature, this could be really anything. Chris, I'm going to let you kind of talk a little bit about it first. What's your biggest surprise from the Nintendo Switch 2 this past year?
Surprise. Well, probably that I got heart failure, but in terms of the Nintendo, sorry. I just saw your reaction. It was delayed because of the thing, but yeah, the biggest surprise, I'm gonna go with Donkey Kong 64 coming to NSO. No, that wasn't my biggest surprise.
No, that is not what I had here. Man, you skipped way ahead. I will tell you, Chris's biggest surprise. Yeah, there we go.
I think it was less the game because I really enjoyed Dragon Quest Builders and Dragon Quest Builders 2, but it was more the fact that so many people love the game as much as they do. I know people like Pokemon, but not all. I mean, you don't hear everyone being like, yo, remember Pokemon Conquest? No, people don't usually get all up in the Pokemon stuff. But the fact that this one came out, and shout out to Ditto was out here, and I mean, it makes perfect sense to be Ditto to mimic all the moves. That would be like if they had like a Gotham farming game and you were your Clayface, you know what I mean?
It would be. That would be hilarious. I'd be totally down for that.
And you can become Mr. Freeze and put out fires. Anyway, yeah, Pokemon Pokopia.
No, I tend to agree with that take. I think that's a good take. I don't think anyone was expecting Pokemon Pokopia. It was a nice surprise when it actually got announced. No one really leaked this information early on. No one really talked about it beforehand. And it got me significantly excited by actually playing the thing, because whenever it came out, like for me, I had said prior to picking this up, I was like, I don't think this game is going to be for me because I don't like the quote unquote cozy game. Right? Like, that's just not usually what I like. I don't like to have to manage my relationships. I don't like to have to... Maybe it's more of a mirror than I think it is. I don't like to have to manage my relationships. I don't like doing menial tasks. I don't like building things. But this game, just kind of like the fact that there was a integrated questline storyline that made sense about what I was supposed to do and how I was supposed to do it, and the constant unlocks of here's a new face that I get to see and experience in my town, the constant unlocks of here's this new section of the world that I get to go and experience and explore, here's a whole new set of blocks that I get to work with. It got me in a way that I did not expect it to. And so I'm 100% with you. I think Pokemon Pokopia is a good surprise to get this past year, especially with the fact that I did not think that I was going to like it, but ended up really loving it. I think it was a stellar addition to the Switch library of games, Switch 2 library of games. For me, my biggest surprise, honestly, was a title known as Donkey Kong Bonanza. Whenever it released, I see, we had heard rumors that the team that made Super Mario Odyssey was working on a 3D Donkey Kong game. There were rumors out there, but there were not any leaked images. There were no leaked developments. There was nothing that was going on that we 100% for sure knew was happening with Donkey Kong Bonanza. And then to couple it with the fact that like Odd Rock, being this new character, was actually Pauline, and this is all kind of working as a quote-unquote prequel to Super Mario Odyssey, was just like a huge revelation in and of itself that got me extra excited. But I think the reason that this is the most surprising to me is because you would expect Nintendo year one to have a big first-party Mario title, right? Like, not necessarily to Odyssey levels, I don't think, even though it's been 10 years since we've gotten Odyssey. But I would have expected, something in that vein. And instead, the Mario game that we got this year was Donkey Kong Bonanza. And it blew away all of my expectations of what a 3D Donkey Kong game could be. Because, I mean, the last one we had was your other biggest surprise, Donkey Kong 64 from NSO.
Yeah.
I expected a Mario, and instead what I got was a super charming, very fluid, very fun, super fast-paced Donkey Kong game that was not hampered down by its own mechanics and a terrible Kong swapping feature and tons of backtracking. You can do that, yeah, but it is a gigantic sandbox you get the chance to go and play around in and have fun with and experience. And Donkey Kong Bonanza for me is probably I don't want to, well, I'm going to hold that thought. But Donkey Kong Bonanza is super awesome. Like, it's really good, and it was a big surprise.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It looks great.
You got to try it. You got to experience it. It was probably the first Switch game you got to actually experience. Switch 2 game, rather.
Yeah, it is. It is his first Switch 2 game I experienced, and I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I look forward to playing it. I was thinking, I mean, sure, the smart thing to do would be pick Mario Kart when I get a Switch 2, but I kind of don't care if I ever play Mario Kart.
I mean, you should be there. You should be there. We do it a lot of Fridays, so you should come and join us. But
consider.
That does bring us into biggest disappointment of the year. Now, Chris, I let you lead on the last one. I'm going to lead on this one, and here's what I'm going to say.
Lead us to the promised land.
My biggest disappointment this past year was mouse mode. Because it was touted as it was going to be this new revolutionary way to play video games. They showed it off with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. They showed it off with so many other games. Dragon Drive, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. And let's talk about another disappointment, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. But I'm going to continue harping on mouse mode as a whole. I think mouse mode, unfortunately, the way that developers have to use those controllers, this console is not necessarily built for mouse mode, especially with the way that the Joy-Cons are shaped. The ergonomics are bad. Nintendo has not provided an official first-party peripheral or even like third-party with their licensing peripheral for mouse mode to be something that is super effective. And it's something that continues to be used to disappointing levels. And I say this as someone who has tried mouse mode out in most of these games. And then the newest one that is going to have the features that would make mouse mode really successful, Star Fox, comes out on the 25th, and it's still bad because there's too much of a reliance on the face buttons when the Joy-Con is already too skinny to be able to be utilized appropriately. That being said, the Star Fox utilization of it is probably the best implementation I've seen beyond Pokemon Pocopia's ability to build and destroy things, but that's the only reason I would use the mouse mode. And I have no incentive to use that feature from this console, and there are so many games that could benefit from it in a seriously good way. And I'm looking ahead at things like Final Fantasy XIV Online that's getting ready to come out. I'm looking ahead at things like Star Fox that's getting ready to come out. And what I want is a successful use of mouse mode implementation that does not rely so heavily on the face buttons and gives us options to be able to rebind within the games when it's on mouse mode to not rely on those so heavily. I don't know how Nintendo does it, other than if they would release a peripheral that is an official Nintendo mouse that has the face buttons in a more ergonomic position and gives me the mouse size that I need to be able to properly experience mouse mode in the way that I think that they hope that it gets utilized.
Maybe it can come with like a mouse that's shaped like a paintbrush, and it can be for
Super Mario Sunshine 2.
You know what I'm about to say.
Mario Paint.
Link's
Switch 2
crossbow
edition.
training too.
Oh, my apologies. I totally
please.
zigged when you zagged,
Please.
I suppose.
Yes.
But I think mouse mode's just been kind of my biggest disappointment. You know, that's where I land with it. What about you, Christopher?
Mouse mode's your biggest disappointment. My biggest disappointment is a price hike. They're dirty scoundrels. I don't like it. I even feel bad for calling them dirty scoundrels because that's a fun name to call people. Yeah, just dirty. I don't like it. I mean, I guess it's better than what Microsoft's doing, but I mean, you don't want Microsoft to be the model that you're trying to achieve, to aspire to be better than.
No. I mean, although with the new shakeup and Phil Spencer not being there anymore, I think that company's on a better track. Unfortunately,
I don't think
because
so.
I liked Phil Spencer, right? I liked Phil Spencer a lot, but his kumbaya attitude about let's just all be gamers did not work within positioning the Xbox to be the leader in the gaming space, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, they showed off not Ninja Theory's game 8 days ago, then shut down Ninja Theory, and apparently a story just came out tonight that said the reason they showed it off was so that they could try and sell Ninja Theory to somebody, and this was like to get bidders for Ninja Theory.
Yeah. I'm not saying the company itself is doing good things, but what I am saying is they're trying to position themselves into a better place, and I think they are getting there. Because the biggest problem is they overbought companies and never produced anything. They cannot afford to sustain that if they're not going to produce video games. So I stand by that. But your point about the price hike, I 100% agree with you in that regard too. Like mouse mode, that's a minor complaint compared to this. I understand what ended up happening that led to that, right? Like I understand why the pricing went up. But then the tariffs got reversed. So the pricing could have came back down to what the MSRP is in other countries, and it never really did. And then you combine that with the fact that because of pressures from investors, we also ended up running into a situation where now we have another price hike that's getting ready to happen at a $50 increase, which is, 15% price hike from what the standard price is of a Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
They want to blame it on investors. Investors want to blame it on a changing landscape of hardware being harder to obtain and also more expensive to get. They're not entirely wrong, but Nintendo is the biggest company, one of the biggest companies in the world, with a gigantic IP investment across multimedia. You're telling me that there's no way that they can negotiate a deal that gets them the price of CPUs, GPUs, whatever they're using in that, to make it to where it's more affordable? It's a little harder for me to believe.
Apparently not. Yeah.
Apparently not. It's apparently not harder for me to believe.
No, apparently they can't do it. Apparently they can't get them.
Hard to believe. I just I don't necessarily.
We all know Nintendo loves making money on their systems, and so they aren't making enough money with each system. They
are not making enough money with each system. They're clearly not.
Golly.
But we do get to talk a little bit about some of the things that we got right this past year, right? So we look at what I do want to look at is we made a bingo card last year, the month leading up to the Nintendo Switch 2 getting ready to come out, and we made some pretty bold predictions. And we did a really good job, I feel like, in terms of hitting most of these dots. So I'm going to show it off. It's coming your way. Your eyeballs will feast. I really like having a chance to say we were right about a lot of things, because it's not often we get to say that. But this time we do. And this is our Switch 2 launch year bingo. If you take a look at the screen, direct your attention to the Switch 2 launch year bingo. We made a lot of predictions. There's a lot of green X's on here that we ended up getting correct, but there were 5 specific things that we did not get correct. And I'd like to focus on those first before we go, we were right about a lot of other things. And the first thing is 3D Mario. Chris, why did we not get a 3D Mario? We got a Donkey Kong Bonanza. That's exactly why we didn't get a 3D Mario. But
that's true.
Were you fully bought in on the idea of a 3D Mario being in launch year before it came out, or how did you feel about it?
I thought they would at least reveal a 3D Mario, and I thought they were going to have a 3D Mario, or that Mario was going to be in the rumored Donkey Kong game at the time, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He kind of is. You can dress up as him if you have the DLC.
That's true. They can do it now, but that's basically what I thought was going to happen, that it was going to be revealed.
Yep.
Did not, however.
Splatoon 4. If we had not hard coded it as 4 and we just said new Splatoon, we could have gotten by on a technicality.
Silly us. Yeah.
Why did we not put Splatoon just only?
Lesson learned for next year. We need to do a better, be more vague.
Yep. Yeah, I would 100% agree with that.
New Activision game.
Just be as vague as we possibly can.
There will be a new Nintendo game.
Yep. Yeah. We go into Halo though, and why did we put Halo on this list, Chris? Sea of Thieves, for that matter, too. The Microsoft owned stuff. Why did we think Halo and Sea of Thieves was coming?
Well, I thought Halo. I thought Microsoft was going to be more present on the Switch, with them turning everything on the Switch 2 rather. They already put like Grounded on the Switch 1. They put Pentiment. They put Forza Horizon 5, 6 is coming. They got all these other games coming out onto on PlayStation 5. So I thought, you know what, Switch 2 will come out. They're gonna have the new Halo, whether it's like Halo, Master Chief Collection, or even the what is it called? Campaign Evolved.
Combat Evolved. Yeah, Campaign. Well, isn't it just Combat Evolved still yet?
Campaign Evolved, because it doesn't have any multiplayer.
Yeah. Halo, Sea of Thieves didn't make their way over, and then our final thing that we have on here that I expected and we never really saw. And we did not put it down as Smash was coming. I think we both agreed Smash in year one would not be a thing that they do. Partly because we already kind of knew and assumed that Sakurai was done. And then it turned out he wasn't done. He had another game he was working on for Nintendo, which was Kirby Air Riders. But we expected there to be a Smash reveal of some sort within the first 365 days, and we didn't get that, and we still don't have that to this day. And I think that's a huge blind spot for Nintendo that would help boon some of the sales of the Switch 2 console and help benefit them in a stronger way. But, who am I? I'm not Mr. John Nintendo, unfortunately. I don't get to make that decision. But we both expected a Smash reveal to happen. And it didn't make it. But I do want to talk about some of the stuff that we have here on in terms of the things that we did get right. Zelda Remaster, Remake, and Port. We've gotten all of that in so many ways, but it's different, right? Like it's different. So the first thing that we got was the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And that's awesome. We got those. Those are really good. And then we ended up getting a remake. And the remake that we get is an announcement of Ocarina of Time. Now, I don't know if that's the remake we wanted, but that's the remake we're definitely getting. How do you feel about our call on Zelda Remaster, Remake, and Port? Do you feel like that was just too easy, or was something that was a no-brainer, or do you feel like we came out of left field on that one?
Well, it does seem like, with like a couple of the games, I thought for sure they were going to have a remake. I wasn't thinking it was going to be Ocarina of Time, but I thought it would be like another, like, Link Between Worlds or something like that would be Grezzo instead of whatever this one is. I mean, we still don't know who is making it.
It's for sure not Grezzo. That is 1000% for sure.
Yeah. Now, From what I heard, it is not Grezzo. It is another third-party company helping Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. We did also get a port of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker 2. through Nintendo Switch Online expansions, which we can also cross off here in a second. But I also want to talk about the full mouse utilization game. We got it, and I don't know that it's necessarily the best one that we got. How do you feel about it, Chris?
What, a game using fully the mouse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Drag X Drive. Drag X Drive was the one that we got, though, and boy howdy was it a choice. We played the demo on stream for the people to be able to see, and it just did not hit in the ways that I really wanted it to. I think that there's still a lot of meat left on the bone with a full mouse utilization game, if they could possibly do the mouse utilization correctly. And when I think about the one that I want more than anything on this, WarioWare Mousin or something like that. Like I don't know what they need to call it, but Drag X Drive did not quite meet my expectations. I will say that much.
Yeah, I mean they do have that game called Mousework that was announced last year, and it is coming to the Switch and Switch 2, and it's controlled with the mouse support. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was like a puzzle game. But yeah,
new Mario Paint, but Nintendo hates money, says Keyword Savior, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Going down to the next row here, this was one we got the full row on.
Glass water action.
Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, and running beyond amazing. And not only that, we got 7, we got Rebirth, and we are going to be having Revelations day and date. How crazy is that?
I know. That's wild. And Kingdom Hearts.
Yep.
Speaking of Kingdom Hearts real quick, did you see Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 is coming to the Switch?
To Switch 1?
The same day. Yeah, the same day that the rest is coming to Switch 2.
Oh, we can't play it there. I mean, you could.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 So here's what's happening. You know how if you bought the cloud version, which I did, you get the new game half off, right? Mm-hmm. So you can get the Switch 1 version half off, and then you would still have to buy the Switch 2 version at half off. But Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 running natively on the system, and then 3 is exclusive to Switch 2, but then there's also the Switch 2 edition of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
That's crazy. I did not realize that. That's nuts. Yeah. That's nuts.
I guess they could have done that the whole time, but they were just like, they didn't want to release Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and then release 3 only on the cloud, I guess. I don't know.
Right. We go on from Final Fantasy VII into Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. That was kind of we knew that was coming. There was no way that wasn't coming. It released for Switch 1. Yeah. They did not announce plans for the Switch 2 release, and then it ended up coming to Switch 2.
I think they announced it a few weeks after, right?
Yeah.
After we did our episode.
Yep, and we immediately crossed that one off the list. It was like, okay, that was probably our first one we definitely knew was happening. And then we get into the NSO expansion editions, and one that surprised me, right? So when we talked about this, it wasn't just like games getting added. That would have been too easy. When we talked about expansions, we talked about full-on consoles getting dropped on here. I think you and I dreamed of 3DS and DS getting added onto there, or maybe even Wii U. And instead what we got was GameCube, which is awesome. I love the GameCube. GameCube may be one of my favorite consoles Nintendo's ever put out. But we got Virtual Boy as well. And that was so out of left field. I did not expect that in any way. That was a good surprise.
Not only that, but then the Virtual Boy shell to put the system into is crazy. And it works for the Switch 1.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Crazy bonkers. Really, really cool addition here. Alt Color Joy-Con. Keyword popped in here earlier when he saw the bingo board up here, and he says Alt Joy-Con colors barely counts, and I tend to agree with him.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they're just like, listen, we're only going to give you a dash of color, please. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When are we going to get a white Switch?
When they do the OLED.
Yeah, probably.
That's not happening, actually. I don't think. I think the screen they have in there is going to be the one we see for a long time.
You think we'll get a Switch 2 Lite?
I would hope so. and they can make it the size of the Switch 1. That would be great. I would prefer a Switch 2 Micro. That's where I'm at. Make it the size of a Switch Lite. Animal Crossing, we marked it off the list, and that's it's almost not exactly correct, but the Animal Crossing we ended up getting was a Switch 2 edition of Animal Crossing New Horizons. Right. I'm not entirely surprised we didn't get a full-on new release, but I was arguing about it for the longest time, saying that it's happening because of their release cadence. Every 5 years, you see a new Animal Crossing happen. It just so happens that they were like, why develop a new one when we can just add some new undercooked features to the one we already have and make more money on that same one? Yeah,
and I feel like that's why we had Smash Reveal on there, because every other Smash Brothers was on the Switch 2 within the first 2 years of its life. Mm-hmm. For 64, GameCube, Wii.
Yep. Could still happen this upcoming year.
That's true. But it could come out in March or April.
Yeah, but I don't expect to see it. And normally that's kind of a Christmas time release, so I don't expect to see it this year for sure, being as close to it as we are.
Yeah. I got Melee at Kmart. Shout out to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then we go down to the next row, and we have Assassin's Creed Shadows. This one took a long time to happen. I don't think this one came out very fast at all. Am I wrong on that?
It got announced and came out after Star Wars. But then it came out. Yeah. And then it came out. And remember, like, people were complaining about it, and they released a new patch, and like it looked like a totally different game.
Mm-hmm. It did. Either way, like, it finally came, and that was exciting to finally be able to mark that off the list, and brought it into parity with what I thought would happen. Do we know if Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced or whatever is coming to the Switch 2? Do we think it is?
I don't know
think they announced that it will.
Yeah.
So I mean, I had high hopes that Assassin's Creed games and more of those would make its way over to the Switch 2, just because of the simple fact that Ubisoft and Nintendo have had such a tight relationship over the years. Anyway.
They said it will skip it entirely at launch, but it could come later on.
Oh, of course.
But I feel like a lot of this is like the Switch 2 all over again, where companies just weren't expecting it, or they don't want to announce it and then have it come later, like Lego Batman and things like that. So they were like, we'll just announce it when it's ready, because they don't want it to end up like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Shadows. Doing it all over again.
Yeah.
And then Cyberpunk was kind of a shot in the dark. And then turns out that was a launch day title and was one of the best looking titles on the console for a long time.
I mean, it still might be one of, if not the best selling third party games. I mean, maybe one of like Resident Evil or something like that past it now, but yeah,
such a good addition.
It was like the game that people got to show off the system at launch. You're like, whoa, look at this. I can play this on a handheld.
Right. On a handheld that is sleek and comfortable and not gigantic. And it looks just as good as it does in a lot of other, looks better than the Steam Deck version. So, like, it's
unrelated to anything. Did you see what's coming? Because, Dead by Daylight, 10th year anniversary, shout out to it. Did you see what's coming to Dead by Daylight?
I heard rumors of something coming to Dead by Daylight.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that was the rumor that I saw today, which is the perfect crew, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I think it might just be like a random survivor and they're wearing a Scooby-Doo hoodie.
Oh, that's lame. I think
it could just be something like that. Yeah.
Count me out.
But
Count me out.
I would want it. I wanted Scooby-Doo on his hind legs, just running around.
You want him to be the bad guy, not the good guy. You want him to be the monster in the mask.
Just like, Mr. whatever his name is, Lyle, with a mask on. Those pesky kids.
Yep. Our freebie space on the board was Switch 2 launches. And did it launch? It did.
It did.
Surprise.
Ooh, baby.
Mario Sports title.
It still wasn't a Switch 2 out. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be hilarious. Be like, well, we missed it, but we got all the rest of these things. They're all on Switch 1 and they underperform in large ways. Mario sports title we got to tick off with Mario Tennis Fever came out really good. Super solid game. Enjoyed my time with it, other than the adventure mode. Everything else surrounding that game was really good. The main adventure mode portion of the game, which is the thing that Camelot usually tries to tout, was awful. Not good. Bad thing. But Mario sports title, we ended up knocking that one off the list. Then we get to Mina the Hollower. Chris, I don't think either one of us thought that one was coming within the first 365 days. Did you?
No, because they kept pushing it back, so I was worried. I was like, maybe it'll be a holiday 2026 game, and you know what? We both already have it.
Yep. And it was not a holiday 2026 game. It finally came out, and it's really good.
You can play it in holiday 2026 if you want.
Yeah, you should. You should continue to buy it and buy it for your friends as Christmas gifts. Support Yacht Club. Metroid Prime 4.
Get it to your friends for Father's Day.
Mm-hmm. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. This game came out. It wasn't the greatest Metroid Prime in the series. It was a perfectly serviceable game. I think that a lot of the 10-year hype cycle that it had set it up for failure in a strong way to where it could not meet those expectations. But it also was not set up like a regular Metroid game where there was a whole lot of backtracking needed to be able to do all the collection stuff, unless you wanted to go to the desert and ride around on a motorcycle in silence. I have mixed opinions on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I think it's a beautiful game. I think it is an okay game, but it is not the best Metroid game that has ever released. That's my genuine opinion. Kirby. Nintendo Switch 1 was nothing but a Kirby machine in every single facet of your imagination. And then to find out Sakurai is working on Kirby Air Riders, and that is the one and only real Kirby game beyond the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Kirby and the Forgotten Lands that we get, that's crazy to me. It's bonkers. How'd you feel about Kirby Air Riders? Did you go check that one out on any of the demos or anything that you can get your hands on?
Yeah, I did. I played the demo of that one as well. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I like Kirby Air Riders. I don't think maybe that's the biggest disappointment. So many of their games are $70.
Yeah, that's a fair disappointment. They did make the industry standard, $70 to $80. But they backtracked that a little bit for the digital purchasers.
Barely.
A little bit. Yeah. And then we get
Fire
Hades
Emblem.
2. Did we expect Hades 2? Did you expect Hades 2? I think we did.
I did. I was like, we need this space. I expected Hades 2 a lot more than Madden, I think.
Yeah.
I could expect Madden like this year coming up, going into September this year, but the fact that we already got it and now we're getting another one.
Yeah, it was released at a weird cadence too, though, because like Madden had already came out on other consoles, and then it came out on Switch 2, and it's like, what? New Mario Kart World
same
was a launch
thing
day
with
title.
WWE, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same thing with WWE.
But that just randomly came out of nowhere. They're like, oh, it's out now.
Mm-hmm. Shadow dropped. Yeah. Mario Kart World released. It was good. We've seen a lot of gameplay of it. I have a really good time with it. I think it's a good entry in the series. Cloud-based native release. We kind of talked about this when we were talking about Kingdom Hearts earlier.
Yeah.
Delisted the demos, then delisted the games, and then delisted the demos, and now they announced that there's a full-on native release. But that wasn't the only games that had cloud-based native releases that happened, was it? There were a few others that got native releases that were announced. Control was one of them, I think. Yet we haven't seen that one actually released just yet. And then there were a couple of others, if I'm not mistaken.
Hitman.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And was there another one? Maybe another one.
I can't remember the list.
Control actually on the Switch had like ray tracing, playing the cloud version. Yeah, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Elden Ring announced and then delayed. And then, a bunch of demo stuff has come out recently. People were getting their hands on play testing it again.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
A Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Resident Evil 2, 3, and
Biohazard?
Biohazard and Village, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Plague Tale, both of those games came out.
I didn't realize those were cloud-based. For some reason, I thought those were like native.
No. And then there was another one that was announced, but it never came out. I forget what it was. And they never announced that it got canceled. Oh, that's what it was. Remember, what's the one Dying Light 2? Dying Light 2 was announced for the Switch 1 as a cloud version, and it just never came out, never got canceled.
Yep. Elden Ring, the only thing we have is the announcement still yet, but I'm still putting it on there because we know it's coming. We really wanted that one, and it's on there. So it's coming. Pokemon Legends ZA. That one was announced for Switch 1. We didn't know for sure if it was going to have a Switch 2 release, and then, lo and behold, day and date, Pokemon Legends ZA was a Switch 2 day 1 release, and that was good news. But that's what we got right, Christopher. I feel pretty good about that, honestly. I feel pretty good about that. How many bingos was that? 1, 2, 3, 4... 4 bingos, and if we had shifted,
you can't see it, but I did a little dance. Yeah.
Thank you for doing your little dance. Look at us being right, doing that dance. Big things as far as that goes. Launch expectations. How did we feel about the launch expectations that we had? I think personally, just as a short note on this, really disappointed with the way that the console launch happened. The fact is that pre-orders got delayed because of the quote-unquote tariff situation and them trying to decide on a new pricing. Everything went up except for the console in pricing. All the accessories shot up. And it really set some sour tastes for me. But what I will say is I think that they did a really good job meeting the demand, and then on top of that stating, we are going to produce enough to where scalpers are not going to have a job, right? Like, that was the big thing for me, that I think they met that above and beyond and did a really good job mediating. So that way I didn't have to drop, $800 on a new Nintendo console to be able to get it day one.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And, but you're also seeing that with stuff like the Steam Machine, and Valve is having a hard time producing these systems, and without
look at the Steam controller, miserable
everything
to get.
Goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
miserable to get, and the pricing does go up. And I mean,
shout out Sierra.
Shout out Sierra.
Shout out Cody.
Thank you. I worked hard to try to make sure we clinch that pre-order for you. Sierra paid for it, but I got it. So, as far as hardware demand's been really high and through the roof. I mean, we've seen, the trends have been really good in terms of sales. The consoles still continue to be in demand, and people still want to get the Switch 2. And I think with games like Ocarina of Time getting announced, we're going to see even more people start to adopt into this. Hardware demand's been high, but they've been, like I said, they've done a really good job mediating that and meeting the demand. Third-party support. Chris, I think you've got a better opinion on third-party support here than I do. All I'll say is I'm praising it, like they've done a really good job, but why don't you talk a little bit about third-party support here and how good they've done?
Yeah. Third-party support. Here's the thing. We were talking about it ahead of time, and I mean, if you look at the sheer number of games, Square Enix has so many games out or still coming out onto the Switch too, and very few of those games you can get the Switch 1 version and either get a discount or a free upgrade. The rest of them you got to buy. Yep. So for that reason I'm out. And then Capcom on the other hand is basically just skipping the Switch 1, going straight to the Switch 2, and they're having games that are day and date. They even have like, I feel like Pragmata and Resident Evil sold so well in the Switch 2 that they were like, come heck or high water, we are going, I didn't want to cuss. We are going to have Onimusha Way of the Sword on Switch 2 day and date. And that's exactly what they're doing. So for that reason, I picked Capcom.
Yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit even deeper later on as we get deeper into this. But third-party support's been through the roof. I think that third-party, as far as being developers for the Nintendo Switch 2, has done a significantly better job delivering like higher expectations for a next-gen console experiences than Nintendo has done by and large, all the way across the board. Pricing expectations, they've zigged and zagged all over the place. For the most part, like my expectations have not been tempered in any way as far as what to expect when it comes to pricing from Nintendo. I've been pretty frustrated with the way that Amiibos have shot up in price. I've been pretty frustrated with the way that software has shot up in price. I've been pretty frustrated with the way that now the console is shooting up in price. Granted, external factors go into that. I don't know if it's Nintendo truly making these decisions or if it's because of the actual environmental circumstances that are surrounding it. That being said, I mean, $450 for a next-gen console, $499.99 coming up in September. It's not that bad when I look at some of the other consoles that are launching, $700 for a PS5 or, $800 for a Steam Deck, $1,000 for a Steam machine. It's
or even
really
higher
not that bad.
For like the ROG X, the Ally X.
Yeah. I will say that, gaming no longer feels like just an everyman's hobby. It feels like an enthusiast hobby now. Like you have to be really into gaming to justify, jumping into it.
Shout out cloud gaming.
Yeah, for real. There we go. But it's one of those things where it's like, I think the pricing expectations have been kind of all over the place and they haven't really met, what I wanted. I had said before, I was like, if it breaks $500, I think a lot of people are going to opt out. And that's looking like what it's about to start doing. So, software cadence. Nintendo's done a pretty good job. Now, this is on just a first party kind of look at, when games have come out. But for the most part, Nintendo's done a pretty good job of maintaining one full game and one Nintendo Switch 2 edition of an old game coming out on a month-to-month basis. Granted, that's slowed down quite a lot over the past little bit. We haven't seen as many Nintendo Switch 2 editions of games, especially since like Super Mario Bros. Wonder plus Meet Up in Bellabelle Park. But the software cadence has been to expectation of what Nintendo has done throughout the entire Nintendo Switch's life cycle. It's one game per month, which is more than Xbox and PlayStation can really say.
Yeah, definitely.
Then we jump into unexpected announcements here. And Chris, I'm going to let you lead with your first most unexpected announcement. Not necessarily biggest surprise, but your most unexpected announcement. What was it, my friend?
Donkey Kong 64. Coming to Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion. Just because it seems like Microsoft, I mean, sure, they got like Killer Instinct on there recently on the 64, but just Microsoft and Nintendo seem to go back and forth arguing. Did you see, the Xbox version that got leaked? That was like the Xbox remake that Nintendo pulled the plug on.
Of Donkey Kong
last minute
64?
No, of GoldenEye 007.
Oh no, I did not see that.
There was going to be an Xbox live arcade version, and it was going to come out at the same time NSO or the Virtual Console, I think, back when it was going to come out, was originally going to come out, but Nintendo didn't like that it was going to look better on the Xbox, so they pulled the plug, said we don't want to do that. But anyway, that version leaked, and it just got compiled online, so you can play it.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Go check it out. Thank you, the internet. Donkey Kong 64. I don't know that I would have put that in like a big surprise category, considering there are two factors here. The first thing is we had Nintendo 64 on Nintendo Switch Online already.
Yeah.
The second factor in this is that it leaked kind of from a trailer that they did about Nintendo Switch Online, Nintendo 64's like CRT filters and all these other things. And there were like 4 or 5 games that were kind of blurred out. But like if you did like a Gaussian blur filter on the box arts for 5 of those games, you could kind of figure out exactly what it was. Glover was one of those. They had what was there was like a shooter game that was on there that I wasn't super familiar with that ended up making its way.
Maybe
may have been Forsaken. Might have. I think it actually was Forsaken.
It was like half of the woman's face.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And then they had Super Smash Bros. 64, which still hasn't made its way on there, but I'm still kind of expecting it. Donkey Kong 64 was another one. There was a 5th one that was talked about a little bit later on.
Maybe they'll have that come out when they announce
the new
Smash Brothers.
They're not thinking ahead that far. Nintendo's not thinking ahead like that. They don't want to link anything together.
It could just be an accident that it comes out at the same time.
Exactly. But I would say probably my most favorite like big surprise announcement was the addition of Nintendo Switch Online Virtual Boy coming. This was so out of left field in a way that like I thought Nintendo for the most part just wanted to ignore the existence of the Virtual Boy and kind of move on from that. And they didn't. They went whole hog on this with everything from the plastic like replica accessory, the cardboard accessory. Pretty much every game has already that released for the Virtual Boy is already released on Nintendo Switch Online, which is crazy. I just did not anticipate this being one of the things that they end up throwing up on the console, and them providing it with the level of respect and nuance that Nintendo did to really make this an experience that people can finally get their hands on in an affordable consumer way. Because I mean, while yes, the plastic accessory is $100, and you can either buy the plastic or the cardboard one, and it's required to be able to play the Virtual Boy stuff. I think that is significantly more affordable than actually trying to buy a Virtual Boy at the current, upped prices of like a $300 to $400 for the console alone, and then the games being $70. How'd you feel about Virtual Boy coming?
Yeah, I mean, we all know I had a Virtual Boy until it got stolen. But the fact that they because Nintendo usually doesn't like to acknowledge their failures, and the Virtual Boy is nothing but a failure on so many levels.
Commercially, everything.
Yeah. And it's also one of those like what could have been with them wanting originally to have like it be in color, and just wondering what a difference that would have made, if any. But yeah, it's so dumb. I love it, the Virtual Boy. So anytime they acknowledge it and give us the ability to keep playing their dumb games,
their dumb old games, give me a way to do it. But yeah, that was probably my biggest unexpected announcement this past year. Everything else felt very like we kind of anticipated it. The missing features here, I'm going to lead on this one. Second screen experience. Like I really want to have, they have the USB-C port on the top of the console. And what I really want, knowing that the Joy-Cons can flip, they have it on the bottom, it's more centered and in the middle. I just want them to release a second screen experience so that way I can actually get true DS and 3DS emulation going on there through Nintendo Switch Online Classics. I think that is a huge miss for them and something that they could absolutely do with like zero kind of real problems. I mean, we've seen them do like system link stuff before with stuff like Mario Party. I don't know if you remember Mario Party Superstars, where you could
put the screens together,
and then draw across. There's no reason they couldn't do that nowadays and just give me just the screen that attaches, kind of like they do it for cameras all the time, where there's like an off-screen second screen that you can attach to your camera to have a bigger preview on it. And that's just what I want, is like something like that connects that way, that gives me that 3DS and DS experience. Because I feel like that was what that top USB-C port beyond the camera was intended for.
Especially with like the copyright like trademarks that they have. for exactly that, you know. Maybe they're just gonna wait until year like 5 or 6. This will come out like at the end of the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Before
probably.
Switch 3, and then we'll have 3 screens. That'd be crazy.
That's what the 3 stands for. 3 screens.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you a cool $1,500 for that.
Yeah.
What about your missing feature? How do you feel about what's not
YouTube.
there that should be there?
YouTube's not there.
Yeah.
Well, you know, YouTube. I mean, it's been like this since the Wii U had it all. They had Prime Video. It had Wii TV. It had you know, you could use it as a remote. You could watch YouTube on it. The Switch had the YouTube. You could watch that. Did Switch have Hulu, or just like
Switch had Hulu,
Crunchyroll, or
Switch
something?
had Hulu. Switch had Crunchyroll. You know, I'm with you.
I think they shut down Hulu, didn't they?
They did. They shut down Hulu. It never had Disney Plus. I think it had Netflix for a while there too, didn't it?
No, it never had Netflix. But if you type in like NE, like if you type in net on YouTube or on the Switch eShop or YOU, it autofills for like Netflix, or at least it did a while ago. It autofills. So that to me tells me a lot of people were searching for it so much that they're like,
it auto-completed.
Yeah.
I think that like back during the Wii U era, right? Like that was when a lot of these console companies were trying to build their console as the multimedia all-in-one experience. Like Xbox was really kind of the start of that, where it was like, use your Xbox like a set-top box, essentially. And then Nintendo came out, and you know, Netflix was super popular usage on their consoles, and all of these other streaming companies saw that and were like, oh, we need to get in on that. And then like Switch comes along, and the development and patches and everything that was supposed to be going into it just never really continued with Switch. And then you go to Switch 2, and it's like there's only nothing that allows you to stream anything on that console. Someone at Google has said that they're working on YouTube. Who knows if we'll ever see the light of day, or if it's something that Nintendo even wants on their console. I think the expectation that it is a all-in-one multimedia experience is kind of out the window. We wait for the Nintendo phone. I think that would change things significantly. And I honestly think that could be on their list of things that they want to have someday, is a Nintendo phone. But you know,
there was a rumor about that before the Switch came out, I think.
I don't want that from them. I'm just gonna be real. Like, as bad as their like online services have been for the many years, I'm not confident they could do it. Like, it connects to 3G instead of 5G. Oh man. Surprising sales trends. Pokemon Pokopia is the one that I have on here. And then I also threw up the Switch 2 sales trends. The only reason that I put Pokemon Pokopia on here is because I did not expect that game to outsell Pokemon Snap. Like, it has 4 million units of sales, and then to top it off, it's pretty dang close to Pokemon Crystal and only off by 2 million units, and we haven't had sales reporting on that title since March. So there's a high possibility it has outsold Pokemon Crystal at this point. Like, that's bonkers to me that a game could do that. What in the heck?
Well, you know, they don't make Pokemon games like Pokemon Crystal anymore.
No, they do not. No, they do not.
You know what? Hear me out. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
Pokemon HD 2D Pokemon.
No, stop. I ranted and raved about that last week. Do not give me honestly. Here's what Ken Sugimori, the guy who did the concept art, there's a person that's been trying to kind of like make a passion project version of that Pokemon game that has his like art style. That's what I want. If they want to do HD 2D, do HD 2D, but use Ken Sugimori's artwork as the basis for it. I would be way down for that. It kind of has that like watercolor aesthetic, with 2D sprites walking around in a 3D pseudo 3D world. That's what I want.
Maybe they just maybe a Pokemon world.
I'd be totally down for that. Pal World, just to spite them, says the Modding Man. Netta says they should just make good Pokemon games instead of bad ones. And I tend to agree with
That would
him.
help too, yeah.
Yeah, it probably would. But I did want to talk about the sales trends of the Switch versus the Switch 2 as well, and kind of highlight this. The source here for these sales numbers comes from Install Base. And what they have highlighted here is the overall sales by millions of units on a month-by-month basis. Month 1, Nintendo Switch 2 is the red line here, selling 1.6 million units versus the Switch 1, which granted, we know how difficult it was to get your hands on that, just over 0.9 million units. So right under a million. But the thing that I think surprising to me, so if you look at the Switch 1 Christmas time for them, because 10 months after their initial launch during that first month was Christmas, and they shot up to 1.5 million units sold in December of that year for the Switch 1. But then you fast forward, month 7 of the Switch 2, which is December, and the reporting on that, and Christmas time for the Switch 2 was just over a milli. And it is crazy to me, but you can kind of see why that trend ended up happening. Nettist is kind of pointing it out here in the live chat. Looks like Switch 2 pretty much hit market saturation in month 7, and I would tend to agree with that. But then they had an even steeper decline after Christmas, so not selling near as many as the Switch 1 did at Christmas time, and then not selling as many as the Switch 1 did after Christmas time, leading into it with a little bump in month 10, which I think was, I would blame Pokemon Pokopia and Tamagotchi Life for those successes there. Going into month 10 and month 11, which we don't have month 12 data still yet here on this list, but month 11 kind of being in line with exactly what the Nintendo Switch 1 is. But if you go and look at their accumulated sales for this first year of sales, total number of units moved by month 11, they're still ahead of the Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch 1. But Nintendo Switch 2 continues to climb, and I'm very curious about what this is going to look like once we do get month 12's sales data here. So what I would argue is that I'm very surprised by the amount of total accumulated sales, and how in line with the Switch 1 it is, and how it's not necessarily, we're not seeing the same level of adoption that I would have expected with the success of the Switch 1 going into the Switch 2. And that's where I'm at with it, is that it feels very in line with exactly what the Switch 1 was.
Yeah. Well, I feel like part of it is just I feel like they had like a perfect storm of one of the best games of all time and as a launch title, and
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, just everyone hankering for something new.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helped that they had it. And they had that game out, and then like the word of mouth about the game, and I feel like I didn't hear as many people talking about not Monster Hunter, Mario Kart World in the same way that I heard everyone talking about Breath of the Wild, and like,
yeah, it's not anywhere near the same experience.
Interest in the Switch, and I've heard more people talk about wanting a Switch 2 for Pokopia than anything else. Since
Pokopia kind of hit that same note that Animal Crossing did, and in a very different market, right?
Without
so Animal Crossing, exactly. Pandemic happened. People who hadn't played games in ages decided to start adopting a Nintendo Switch to be able to have something to do at home, and Animal Crossing looked approachable and fun and cute and cozy, and they were like, well, I can do that. And that franchise had sales numbers that were unheard of for Animal Crossing. So I think that, because there's some conversation that's happening in the live chat right now too, with no reason to assume market saturation, extenuating economic situations. you know, you look at the cost of the Switch 2 versus the Switch 1 is a significant difference too. So like there are a lot of extra situations that are going on there. But I would here's where I land with it is that I think that the Switch 1 was a more affordable console with a better library of games at launch than the Switch 2 is at a harder economic stance. But I do think that we've seen not enough people adopt the Switch 2 in the same way that we saw people adopt the Switch 1. Because you would expect a higher conversion rate, or at least I would, from the success of the Switch 1 to Switch 2. And that's the thing that's surprising me the most about this trend.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to agree with you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then we get into Nintendo's first party output, launch titles here. We had on launch day, let me tell you what we ended up having on launch day for Nintendo Switch 2, because I didn't have these listed on my listed on here. But the first party titles were Mario Kart World and Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. We ended up having Cyberpunk 2077, which was another huge one. Deltarune being our indie representation. We had Bravely Default was released within launch day. There was, I'm trying to remember all the rest of the launch day titles. Do you remember them all?
All of the launch day titles?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay. Mario Kart World, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, Cyberpunk 2077, Rune Factory, Guardians of Ozma, Street Fighter 6, Hogwarts Legacy, Hitman World of Assassination.
Street Fighter 6, Amiibo even.
Yeah. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. I did. I really liked that too. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, Sonic Bash Shadows Generation, Sid Meier's Civ 7, Split Fiction, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, Deltarune.
That was a free upgrade if you had the Switch 1 version.
It was. Deltarune Chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Survival Kids, Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, Nobunaga's Ambition, Fast Fusion, Fortnite, Arcade Archives 2 Ridge Racer, Fantasy Li-Fi, The Girl Who Steals Time, and then there were like 12 games that were free upgrades from Switch 1. And then we got the GameCube Nintendo classics of Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX. You want to talk about having games on day one? That is a huge launch lineup. That's bonkers as far as many games that was there. You know what was out on Switch 1 on day one? Snipper Clips and Breath of the Wild. Like, that was it on day one. And then you've got all of that day one for Nintendo Switch 2. That is a 10 out of 10 launch lineup, if you ask me.
It was like a 5 out of 10.
What?
Yeah.
You're kidding me. Cyberpunk, Deltarune, Mario Kart World, the rest of the games were on there. Bravely Default. I'm not even going to list them all over again. All the GameCube stuff, and you're telling me that is a 5 out of 10 launch day?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
That's a hot take.
It was not. I mean, the GameCube had a better launch lineup than
it had Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, and Star Wars Rogue Squadron and Shrek, the video game based on the movie. Yeah.
You have bad opinions sometimes.
Thank you.
I'm just saying.
I mean, as long as I'm not agreeing with you that is a 10 out of 10 launch lineup, when you got a Nintendo DS remake, you've got Mario Kart World, Mario Kart Snore, you've got how old was what's it called when it came out?
How old was what's it called?
When did Cyberpunk come out?
I have no clue, but the fact is like most people who did not play on any other console, which in my mindset, for me, right? Like I play on multiple other consoles. I played Cyberpunk 2077 when it launched on the Xbox, and it was garbage when it launched on the Xbox.
Shout out to Stadia. It was great on there.
It comes out on the Switch 2 on the Switch 2's launch day and has all of the DLC and everything included directly on the cartridge, performing better than it would have ever performed on my Steam Deck. And you know what? And it's amazing. I don't care how old it is. That is a good launch game.
Switch 2 had a great 10 out of 10 launch. If you were a man in a coma, woke up out of nowhere and just discovered video games, or don't play anything other than the Nintendo. If you don't own any other system, it was a good launch. If you own other video game systems and have played video games before, it was not that great of a launch.
Mario Kart World, brand new entry and a long-standing IP, which is a solid game. I know you don't like Mario Kart, but it is a good game.
It's a good game. It doesn't need to be a launch title.
Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4, amazing additions to the game that had not been released yet and came out day one.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you can play them on
Fusion,
Switch.
An amazing sequel to a great game that was super solid. You can play them on Switch. Absolutely, you can play them on Switch. But you can play them on Switch too.
What? Yeah, you can. We're talking about the Switch 2 launch.
Those titles launched for the Switch 2 and just happened to also be on Switch that day.
And Steam and other places.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the games.
You literally moments ago we're celebrating day and date across consoles, games coming to Nintendo Switch 2, and then the moment I mentioned this, you're like, "Nah, it sucks. You could play it somewhere else."
Yeah, I mean, it's great that they're having a day and date, but we're talking about rating the Switch 2 launch, and the Switch 2 launch didn't have. You don't
think that launch lineup is good games? No. Mario Kart World was a great first-party game. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you just don't like Mario Kart. You have bad opinions sometimes.
If you've played one Mario Kart, you played all Mario Kart.
That is very untrue. That is
How many of those
Mario Kart World plays nothing like Mario Kart in any of the other games.
It doesn't play like Mario Kart. Do you press A to go forward? Then it plays like the other games.
Do you? Okay.
Here's what I will say.
Can you do front flips and back flips and parkour off the sides of walls and wall grind and rail grind and all the other Mario Karts?
Yeah, if you want to glitch your way through it. Mario
You're not
Kart
glitching.
on the
It's
Wii
an
had a
intended
wheel.
thing. You are so full of crap right now. God. But, okay. On a serious note, Mario Kart World, right? Mario Kart World, even in your opinion, 7 out of 10 game. We consider a 7 an okay game, right? Like we are happy to play a 7 out of 10 video game. You'd even give it an 8. Great game.
But I want a 10 out of 10 for my launch. Not very many systems have great
You said
launches.
that GameCube had a better launch. You think Star Wars Rogue Squadron is a 10 out of 10?
It was better than
You think it's a 10 out of 10?
The Dreamcast. We need more launches like the Dreamcast in America. The Dreamcast in Japan was terrible, but we need more launches like
I'm sorry
the
that we don't
Dreamcast.
meet this failed console from Sega that put them out of business.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, at least they had good games at launch.
Cyberpunk 2077. What would you rate that game, regardless of where it came out? What number would you put on that game? Out of 10. All I'm hearing is squeaking.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Hear me squeak, Daddy. I think if I were to give it a score, I'd give it an 8.
Okay, an 8. All right. I'm not gonna hit all of these. Okay, I'm not gonna hit all of these. But
you're only gonna hit the good ones. Give me some bad ones.
Okay, I'll give you a bad one. Hogwarts Legacy.
0 out of 10.
Beyond the controversy.
0 out of 10. Yeah, I don't care.
I think that version of Hogwarts Legacy is actually pretty okay as far as a game is concerned. Ignoring the controversy. I'll hit you with, okay, one that I don't think is necessarily in your wheelhouse. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster.
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, I like Bravely Default.
What do you mean?
But then we got Suikoden 1 and 2. What would you give Survival Kids out of 10?
Survival Kids, I didn't play Survival Kids. I didn't even touch it. I haven't, and you were the one who praised that game.
Rocks.
You are a bag of rocks.
The game on the GameCube. What about Civ 7 Switch 2 edition? You know what? It's funny enough. Probably one of the games with the best mouse controls, and you just didn't get to play it because it's like a $70 game.
And it's a sim game that's just not in my wheelhouse.
Do me a favor, rate this next Switch 2 launch title.
Okay.
Puyo Puyo Tetris S2S.
Well, I would probably give that one a really bad score.
Yeah.
That one is probably a solid 4 out of 10 for me. But that's for me. But
Nobunaga's Ambition.
Nobunaga's Ambition. You
edition.
Talked super huge deal about that one.
I own that game.
You like that one. You like that one.
Path of the Goddess.
That one's a 9 out of 10. Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, 9 out of 10. Really solid launch title.
Arcade Archives 2 Ridge Racer.
Pass. It's Arcade Archive. Granted, it's like $3.
So far, you've only given me 2 passes. So I would say, also, I really don't care about talking about this anymore. Can we just move on?
Yeah, we can just move on. It was a
moderate launch.
It is a great launch, and you're a moderate launch.
No, I would call it good launch at best. I wouldn't call it a great launch.
It is a great launch. If
you want to have a great launch, give us a brand new 3D Mario.
Oh, I mean, I'm with you.
Or give us
now you're speaking my language. So the Switch 2 holiday title, what even was it? Do we know? I can't tell you. I will tell you what I think it was.
Pokemon Legends ZA, wasn't it?
It was a mix of things. It was Age of Imprisonment, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Yeah. It was Kirby Air Riders, and it was the other game that you just mentioned.
Pokemon
Legends ZA. And all of those games were mid at best, unfortunately. I think they were solid 6, 7s.
Solid as a rock.
But I do think that they were not to the standard of what I would want out of a holiday launch title. Like out of your first Christmas, what will drive your sales of your console? They did not add anything to that console to make people go, "Oh, I need to get this for Christmas." Instead, they waited a couple more months to release Tamagotchi Life and Pokemon Pokopia, which would have been great Christmas titles, amazing Christmas titles. Remasters, remakes, revivals, and Switch 2 editions. How did we feel about what came out with that?
A lot of Switch 2 editions. I'm kind of into the Switch 2 editions. Although I like the indie Switch 2 editions because they give them to you for free, more so than $10 for a bunch of junk. Switch 2 editions, I'm okay with. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. What about you?
Most of the Switch 2 editions, if I take them all in as a whole, 6 out of 10. If I look at all of them, because they have not provided the content that justifies the price.
And they're all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. Remasters, remakes, and revivals, that's pretty much been this whole console. Like, everything has been a remake, a remaster, or a revival of an old franchise. And I can't say that's necessarily a good thing for the ecosystem. Like the video game economy needs new IPs, new ideas, or new entries in existing franchises that are going on here, and the occasional revival I'm totally okay with. But it has been remaster, port, city, and nothing that blows me away in terms of it being new. And I think that provides some credence to your argument of things like how old was Cyberpunk when it came out? How old was Hitman? How old was Bravely Default? Like, all of those things are remakes and remasters with very little brand new experiences coming into the lineup. So that's where I land with it. But you're driving with the Switch 2 editions. Are you driving with the remakes, remasters, and revivals?
No, Switch 2 edition.
Switch 2 editions only. Best Nintendo published game. I think we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more before we dive into the next category. Donkey Kong Bonanza. Christopher, tell them about your opinions on Donkey Kong Bonanza.
It's good. I like that, the Nintendo Mario team basically is at it again, changing it up a little bit with Donkey Kong, letting you basically smash and break everything, and bringing back some old classics characters.
I will say this about Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah.
At first I wanted to say I'm surprised at the legs that it has. But what I really want to say is I'm surprised at the legs that Nintendo's tried to force this game to have. Specifically, how many different things they've tried to make people go back for. Emerald Isles is not a DLC that I think is necessarily 100% worth it, and all of the unlockable things that they're doing right now centers around the DLC that they put out there. The base version of that game, like, the DLC feels on par with what they did with Super Mario Odyssey with the Luigi hunting balloons mode that they did in Odyssey. That was kind of a cool distraction to add into there to give it just a little bit more life going out of its initial sales role. Same kind of thing here with Emerald Isles, but the problem is like I think Nintendo's really putting too much equity behind the DLC that's really not. I don't think many people are playing that DLC. I'm just gonna be real. I really don't. I think people are snagging it just because they maybe don't have anything else first party from Nintendo that they want to play, and so they're snagging that. But I don't know. Like, I think the game in and of itself is probably the best Nintendo published game that came out this past year. We ourselves here on the show gave it a 99 out of 100, the base game experience. The longevity of that game with the extra modes is kind of just a detractor in most cases for me compared to what they could have done with that title.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to play all the way through.
Really worth it. Good 40-hour game, like, for real, like, good 40-hour game. Most underrated game. Chris, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one. What was your most underrated game from Nintendo this past year?
Chibi Robo. Anytime they bring Chibi Robo, give it to us over and again. As long as it's Chibi Robo 1. I mean, go ahead and remake that, for crying out loud, instead of Ocarina of Time.
Why has every other Chibi Robo that they've released sucked, though?
Probably because they didn't have Skip do it. But, if they had the same team do it, maybe it could be good.
Yeah.
But I feel like they just kind of took the character and didn't take, like, the spirit and, like, what happened in the game and how it was just really weird and quirky. It kind of reminds me of, like, Captain Rainbow. Did you ever play Captain Rainbow from Nintendo?
I've messed around a little bit with Captain Rainbow from Nintendo.
Yeah.
I could kind of feel that. I can kind of feel that.
Although I think it's made by the same people, so that can be why.
That's exactly why. On my list originally...
What about you?
On my list originally, I had written down...
what did you write down?
I'd written down Kirby Air Riders, but legitimately what I think I want to say more than Kirby Air Riders is my most underrated Nintendo game this past year is a little ditty known as Mario Tennis Fever. I've talked a lot of crap about its adventure mode, but like when you get out of the adventure mode and you do like all the challenge modes and all the extra missions that they have thrown in there that you can go do and playing the mini games and doing the multiplayer with other people, Mario Tennis Fever kind of like ticks a lot of boxes that like I didn't think I necessarily wanted or loved. And I'm realizing now, like, this may be one of the most overlooked titles that came out on Switch 2 this past year, more so than Kirby Air Riders. Kirby Air Riders has had legs and has continued to sell because A, it's a Sakurai game, but also B, because they've continued to support it with all these like events, and Mario Tennis Fever never really got that support. this past year in the same way. I liked Fever quite a lot, and would recommend it probably more so than Kirby Air Riders.
Fever?
Yeah, Fever.
Do you have a fever?
Well, I'm not sick, but you know. Best game this first year, though. So we talked about the best Nintendo published game. We talked about the most underrated game. My favorite game that came out this past year is kind of a somewhat of a recent release, and that is none other than Mina the Hollower from Yacht Club Games. Mina came out for $20. Has so much replayability. I mean, you can get as deep as like 12 replays in, the game is still getting harder and you're finding new things and having new challenges. Has its own built-in randomizer, has all these other like options and quality of life changes you can do. Has a beautiful, gorgeous Game Boy Color art style that like I am very enthralled with. I love the Game Boy era of video games, and this one does a really good job. All that said, though, there is a little bit of confusion sometimes on the game because I can lose my character a bit whenever I'm playing through it, in the rest of the pixels that are moving, and kind of just like that junky pixel mess that you kind of see with those old school games. But this one's like a really special release. I waited a long time for this one to come out. It finally did. And then it turned out to not be a Zelda-like at all, but more of a Soulsborne kind of experience.
Yeah, right?
I was surprised.
Like, this is our Zelda for the Game Boy. And then you can tell, like, as they were making it, they were playing more and more Souls-likes, and they were like, this is actually a Souls-like.
So that's where I landed with it. That's my number one game this year, Mina the Hollower. Again, kind of came out recently. If I had to pick a runner-up, because I can. This is our show. We can pick a runner-up.
I can and I will.
I'd say Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4. I loved that experience. I had a good time with it. It made me go down the Undertale rabbit hole all over again. But what about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and pick Hades 2 because I love Hades 2. I loved Hades 1, and then Hades 2 came out. I was like, how on earth can they go from Hades 1? What can they do with it? And turns out they can make Hades 2, which is really good. I think I might like some of the weapons better in Hades 1 than I do in Hades 2, but at the same time, it's good enough.
Yep.
They still are really good.
Mm-hmm. I tend to agree. I enjoyed my time with Hades 2. I haven't played it on Switch 2. I played it whenever it was in whatever the alpha or beta build, the pre-release, as far as that goes. That's where I ended up picking it up and playing it on Steam. And I had a good time with it. I streamed it on the day that it came out and had a really good time with Hades. Would say that it is a really solid experience on the Switch 2. Would recommend 100% to people. Did you have a runner-up that you wanted to mention? Just kind of offhand. Hades.
Yeah, we'll
Hades
say Silk Song.
Silk Song, yeah. Listen, that has been the standard for what we've talked about, how much games are. So, like, we have a new one where it's like, that's 4 Mina the Hollowers now. But we've said, like, that's 2.5 Silk Songs for a year now. And it kind of has to be up there. Silk Song, really good experience too. Crashed the Nintendo Switch system stores and everything else that was going on. That was nuts. Hardware experience. I'm going to run down this really fast. I'm the one who's had it and can speak to it. Performance, it's performed above expectations significantly. I mean, Resident Evil Requiem, Cyberpunk 2077, Split Fiction, a lot of these games that have like got a lot of particle effects and high-end graphics cards still chugging, performing on this console in a way that I did not expect it to. Performance is like through the roof. Very, very impressed. Battery life, I will say, is up to par with probably the Steam Deck. If you're playing a game that doesn't require a lot of resources, you're going to get anywhere between 6 to 8 hours of battery life out of that console. If you're playing something like Cyberpunk, you're going to get something along the lines of like 2 to 3 hours out of that console. But battery life could still be better. I just wish they would put higher capacity batteries in these things and make it just a little bit heavier to justify it, but it is what it is. Build quality is really nice. It's sleek. It feels like getting a Apple device. Like I've been very happy with how everything feels on this console. It feels premium when you take it out of the box. It's got this nice matte finish. It's got, plenty of metal inside to give it that heft and that weight to make it feel like I paid $500 for a console for a reason. Build quality is really good. The only complaint that I've heard from people is that the Joy-Con sticks that they're using in that are the exact same sticks they used before, still prone to Joy-Con drift. I have never experienced Joy-Con drift the entire 10 years that I've had a Nintendo Switch system, and I haven't experienced it with my Switch 2. So, your mileage may vary. User interface, if you've played a Switch 1, it's the Switch 2. It's the same exact thing. Backwards compatibility, 2 thumbs up. Like, it's been great. Most every game runs exactly how it should, and the ones that don't, they're still working on trying to get it. There's a new monthly list of video games that get backwards compatibility updates on the Switch 2 from the Switch 1, and even they list on their website it is compatible or maybe has issues performing on the Switch 2 compared to the Switch 1. eShop experience, really, really solid. The online services, also good. Expansion pack value, I've always been a big advocate for the expansion pack, and I'd say with Virtual Boy and GameCube and Nintendo 64 and GBA and all of the other things that they continue to add on there, they're just continuing to give value. Granted, we haven't seen the price go up here like it has in other regions, but still very much worth it. And whenever I'm paying, $50 a year to have, up to 8 people on my family plan, I have no complaints. Super solid. Accessories, I don't really care for most of them. Third-party stuff, they're doing a really good job. First-party stuff sucks. The Joy-Cons are not anything special. They're just like pops of color around the sticks and the rails that go inside of the Nintendo Switch 2 system. Hard to recommend. Availability and pricing. We talked a lot about pricing. We haven't talked as much about availability, but if you want a Switch 2 right now, you can get one. No issues, no questions asked, easy to get. And then we're going to get into, was it worth upgrading? And I think for me, it was. For the vast majority of people who are waiting for a new Mario, a new Zelda, a new Smash Bros, a new Splatoon, I don't think it's necessarily worth it to most of those people who are waiting for those things to come out. That's where I land with it. Has Nintendo maintained momentum? Major AAA ports. Chris, you can talk about this. Major AAA ports. Do you feel like Nintendo's maintained momentum with major AAA ports, exclusive partnerships, and indie presence?
Yeah. I feel like at first it seemed like they might not have, even though they had Cyberpunk at launch, but then they didn't. It's because, with like Borderlands and there was wasn't there another game that got canceled? I can't remember, but that now it seems like as more developers are getting the systems in their hands, like the dev kits, it seems like more of them are coming over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I'd say, yeah.
I would agree. I think the exclusive partnership side of things, we haven't really seen so many like exclusive to Switch 2 for this limited time kind of thing. But I also don't really need that. I don't care about that as much. We've seen them buy companies like Bandai Namco Singapore or whatever. Like they've accumulated some different developers here and there that are working on stuff for them now. But it's all been like first party stuff for the most part, like the Star Fox remake and all that other stuff from Shiver Entertainment and whoever else. And then we can talk about the biggest third-party win. We're talking about it in terms of publishers. Who is your biggest third-party win, Chris?
Capcom for me.
Yeah.
Just for the day and dates and the performance of the ones that are day and date.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I landed with Square Enix. I kind of feel the same way. Like they're doing a whole lot of the day and date stuff. Kingdom Hearts 4, Final Fantasy Revelations. I'm very excited for Elliot The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. I think that's going to be a great game. Final Fantasy Resonance. Like all of these things are coming over here. Square Enix has done a really good job to continue supporting the JRPG and Square fan base. And I agree with you on Capcom. I think they've done a really good job there too. Biggest missing publisher or game, Chris? What's your pick?
I picked Rockstar Table Tennis. I just want to see a modern version of it.
Just to incorporate it into GTA 6. I'm going to say Elden Ring. We know it's coming, but holy crap, we expected it within the first 365 days. It's still not here, and I know they had to go back to the drawing board on some of the performance stuff.
I feel like they wanted it to be, yeah.
They did, and I wonder how that's affected the Duskblood's development cycle too. It's kind of hit a couple of those things from software not getting out on time. I think a lot of things have gotten delayed from their end onto the Switch too. Most wanted announcements, anything really Mario for me. For you, Chris, what do you want?
Punch-Out.
Yep, fair. And then really, the rest of this is stuff that I don't think we necessarily need. We can talk about the biggest challenge facing.
We can go to the fast forward.
Switch 2. We will. But biggest challenge facing Switch 2. How are you feeling about it, my good sir?
I'm feeling good. Good about it.
Biggest challenge you're feeling good about. The biggest challenge. I would say, listen, Chris, here's the biggest challenge facing Switch 2. And it is the pricing situation. I fully believe it's the pricing situation. So that's where I land with it. Is trying to make sure that people adopt into this console and want to be here, and making sure that it's not $500 has been something that I think has been really difficult for them. So that being said,
them not making their first party games take 5 or 6 more years to release. They don't want to be like Naughty Dog.
No. Let us know what you guys think about the first year of the Nintendo Switch 2. Again, I'm pretty happy with it. I gave it an 82 out of 100, and Chris gave it a 69 out of 100. But, we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, we've got games that are coming out this week that you need to care about, filled in by Chris Becker. Stick around. We'll see you right in just a second with those games. Take it away, my good sir.
Okay, well, first we got Dark Scrolls. Shout out to them because it's from the developer behind Gato Roboto. Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of Gato Roboto. Really cool 1-bit video game, kind of in the style of Game Boy.
Yeah. And what was the other one? Gumbrella.
Again, another one that's very much in the style of Game Boy. Yep. Except with a sepia tone going on with it.
All right, and this one is like multiplayer, kind of like, I guess you could say it's kind of like, I lost the page, but no, it is like a 2-player, more, kind of like Game Boy, but it's got online multiplayer. It's $9.99. It looks less like Game Boy and more like
NES era.
If the NES had like a TurboGrafx.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Like the equivalent of the NES TurboGrafx. But yeah, this is coming out on the 22nd for $9.99. I think so. It has online multiplayer, but I think I saw something that said it will be cross-play. I don't know for sure, but yeah, you can play locally or online. This is a Switch 1 only joint, right? This is a game that was going to come out last month, but got delayed because of a little game called Mina the Hollower. So now it's finally coming out, as long as no other major, as long as the chocolate what's the name
Haunted
of that game?
Chocolatier.
The Hawkland Chocolatier. Yeah, as long as that doesn't come out. Next
Wouldn't that
up,
be some stuff getting out of the way of me now only for the Haunted Chocolatier to take your thunder again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now we're moving on to the Switch 2. We've got The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. This is another, you're gonna love it, HD 2D.
I talked a lot of crap, but I'm actually excited for this one. Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
It's got a demo. You can go ahead and download the demo. Go ahead and play that when it comes out on June 18th for $59.99. Good sir. But yeah, go ahead and give it a go. If you're not sure about it, play the demo. I'm not going to stop you. Next up, we got R-Type Tactics 1 and 2 Cosmos Nintendo Switch 2 edition. This is, it's just R-Type but tactic. What if it was a tactics game instead? This is coming out June 18th as well, for both Switch and Switch 2. It is a $10 upgrade if you want to. $5 upgrade if you want to go ahead and get it. A lot of times when these games come out, they're like, when it's like a Japanese game, you have to charge for the upgrade in Japan for some reason, but so they just keep that charge if it's a Japanese company. In Japan, other companies will just only get charge in Japan and not in America. But yeah, we got that coming out on June 18th for $49.99 on the Switch, $54.98 on the Switch 2. Next up, we got Wander Stop. Wander Stop is a game where you are running a tea shop. You go around, plant some stuff. There's a lot going on. This is out on Switch and Switch 2. This studio was already shut down, and this was like the last thing they announced before shutting the studio down, sadly. But yeah, June 23rd, $24.99. You get the Switch version, you get the Switch 2 version as a free upgrade.
Yeah.
That's it.
Pick up some games
this week. Also, I want to just say I got a random deal, right? Because last Potapom 1+2, randomly, I was like, I'm going to pick this up because it was $4.99. It's normally $30, right? And I was like, I've never seen it go down to $4.99. And within like 2 hours, the sale went away. I think it was an error. It was supposed to be like $5 off instead of $5 total. And I got it, and they haven't revoked it, and I still have it. Patapon 1+2 replay. I was like, oh, of course I'm going to get that. I love Patapon.
Great job on snagging that deal. We are going to throw it over to the Pixman segment, or Pixel Minute for long. In this segment, Chris has exactly 1 minute to guess the exact title of a game based on an image that is highly pixelated and will slowly reveal itself within 60 seconds. The faster he guesses, the more points he gets. This game was, in fact, released this week, but in years ago Nintendo history. Christopher, are you ready, my good sir?
I am ready.
All right,
Thank you for asking.
In 3, 2, 1.
Did you get this fixed, by the way?
Let's go. You tell me.
No, it does not look like it. No, you did not. Okay. Is this SpongeBob? No.
Not
this
SpongeBob.
Oh, gosh, what even is it? I feel like there could be a character in the foreground or a character in the background.
At 30 seconds, I'm going to give you a one-word hint.
Yeah, give me anything. This is ridiculous.
Nintendo DS?
This needs to get fixed. Elite Beat Agents. No.
Warriors.
What?
Warriors.
Dragon Quest Warriors?
Tecmo Koei.
Oh. Hyrule Warriors? No.
Tactics.
Pokemon Conquest?
Yes, there we go. With 5 points on the board, we got Pokemon Conquest, also known in Japan as Pokemon plus Nobunaga's Ambition. It is a 2012 tactical role-playing video game developed by Tecmo Koei and published by the Pokemon Company and Nintendo for the Nintendo DS. The game is a crossover between the Pokemon franchise and Nobunaga's Ambition video game series. The game was released in Japan on March 17th, 2012, and was later released in North America June 18th of 2012. As far as reception goes, it got overall positive reviews with a score of 80 out of 100 on Metacritic. In their review, Famitsu reviewers praised the game's accessibility for young players, high replay value, and the mixture of Pokemon with traditional Japanese historical setting. It's considered one of the best Nintendo DS games by multiple websites, including IGN, Games Radar Plus, and Nintendo Life. How do you feel about Pokemon Conquest, my good sir? Because I'm going to tell you straight up, this is one I always forget about.
I am a big Pokemon Conquest fan. I loved it. Yeah. I wish they would do another one or just bring this somewhere where we can play it. Maybe they will one day on the Switch.
What if they added as DLC for Nobunaga's Ambition that they released on day one for Switch 2?
Well, that'd be great because I own that game. Yeah. So.
Thank you. Well, listen, we got a little bit of an extra news to cover from my Nintendo. A new wallpaper featuring Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Editions. Nintendo Switch 2 Edition is available for 50 platinum points, but also you can enter the My Nintendo Classic Fun with Nintendo Switch Online sweepstakes to earn a personalized jacket, a Nintendo Classics gaming mat, a Super Mario 64 metal poster, and a SanDisk micro SD express card for Nintendo Switch 2 in the 512 gigabyte variety. Max one entry, 0 platinum points to enter. Yes, you heard that right. I said 0 platinum points. So go get your chance to win. In Nintendo Switch Online icons, we have Yoshi's in the Mysterious Book available until tomorrow. Grab a smattering of illustrated Yoshi and friends before they're gone. Splatoon 3 icons have returned. Get some themed around Salmon Run until June 21st. Xenoblade Chronicles icons have returned as well. Rep your favorite Shulk and Friends character by claiming these before June 23rd. The monthly play and redeem icons are still indie Donkey Kong and Mario vs. Donkey Kong icons. Play them on Nintendo Classics. You do need a Nintendo Switch Plus expansion pack. Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack membership to claim the Mario vs. Donkey Kong ones. Nintendo Music, we got some more Mario Kart World tracks slowly trickling out of Nintendo's reserves, this time featuring remixes from Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3. The Capcom sale that is going on the Nintendo eShop ends in 2 days. So you have 2 days to snag deals on Resident Evil Requiem, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, or the Monster Hunter Stories series before they're gone. In events, the DK Challenge is still ongoing and will be happening until September 1st. You can play games and complete the challenges to earn challenge cards, functioning a lot like an achievement system, which I didn't even think about until Chris brought it up during the pre-show today. News highlights: Densha Attack got a short delay to July to allow them, and I quote, a little more time to cook. Previews for Rhythm Heaven Groove are starting to hit, and it's getting some glow. Game Informer states, I'm excited to see how the single-player offerings play out as you get deeper into them, and I look forward to busting this game out at future friend gatherings. And PC Mag praised it for its uniqueness, saying, since this was all rhythm-based, making those input choices in the moment while staying on beat felt like freestyling, in reference to the RPG mode that they have on there. A nice bit of creativity in a game otherwise about precisely following instructions. While we groaned about the change of art style last week with Rayman Legends Retold, we do have some good news coming from Ubisoft. Retold will not be replacing the original on current digital storefronts, so you'll still be able to go get the original Rayman Legends. And speaking of digital storefronts, the new eShop update hit with the system update, and it makes the eShop so much more usable on Switch 1 with near instant loading of pages. It's bonkers. I'd never thought I'd see a day for them to actually make the Switch 1 eShop actually any good.
I know.
Chris,
and connected to the themes, right?
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. Crazy. Yeah, white and gray. Those are your themes. Chris, where can they find you, my good sir?
Just find my link tree. You can go from there. What about you? Where are they finding you at?
Come over to twitch.tv/nerdxd. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be doing Pokemon Champions Race to Master Week 2. You can get yourself an exclusive watch time badge, or if you're feeling generous and you gift a sub over there, you can get a Race to Master badge that you can rep on your stuff. In either mine or Team Wildwood's channel, we're competing against each other again with a set with Sandaconda, accuracy-based trick room kind of setup. I'm excited about it. So Remember, you can catch all of our past episodes in video form over at youtube.com/at the Nintendo Rewind. Visit our site for links to all of our social media pages over at nintendorewind.com and consider supporting the show. Thank you so much for watching. Catch us weekly Tuesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch and YouTube. We love your faces. Remember, please be kind and rewind, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Doodaloo.